I don't know why I get so much joy out of that air drumming thing, but I just do. Grand Rising, everyone, and welcome to the Daily Huddle. Today is Wednesday, also known as Health and Wellness Wednesday. Now, when we talk about health and wellness, the topics can go everywhere on health and wellness. There's so many topics, there's so many things that can happen within the confines of health and wellness, as you know. My name is Steele Greye. If this is the first time you're joining us, hello, welcome. Whoever sent you here definitely loves you more than you can explain. This is a great place to be because we always unpack something or move the vibration in another direction depending on who you are and where you are coming from, right? Your perspective. So it's actually very fitting that I'm wearing this shirt, Human Love, today because our topic is about love, right? Connected to um, wellness. So the topic is, who trained you to love and how does it affect your wellness? Now, when I first decided that this was going to be the topic and I said, who trained you to love? I thought to myself, it's not always looked at as a training, but somehow, some way, you are around a group of people. It doesn't even have to be your parents. That's what's so interesting. And over time, they have trained you or kind of conditioned you on how to love. Meaning you're watching something or you were watching something and you didn't even really know that you were being trained. You were in training, right? I'll give you an example. As a child, I remember my father using a lot of really strong words that were completely out of reach for me, what I thought, right? So the words sounded like foreign words that I would never use in my entire life when I was younger. And I would hear them come out of his mouth. And then during some of the times, I would ask him, what is that word? And he would tell me. But it got to the point where he would say many words, and I was so fascinated with them. I kept asking. And now I say those words in my everyday life as an adult. As it relates to love, and I'll just take you back a little bit with a little story or a little bit of a kind of a history of where it comes from. For me, as a child, all I remember my parents doing is interacting with love, interacting with other people. People interacted with them on the heels of them interacting, but I always remember a very specific level of love. Continuous. I don't remember my mother or my father um, coming at anyone or starting any altercations. Every time I looked up at them, because I was a little guy, I only remember people smiling at them and only remember them creating situations that allowed other people to fit snugly within their energy. That's what I remember, which is a beautiful blessing. So when I ask the question, who trained you to love? The question I'm really asking is, who were the standout people that you felt kind of like this, like a certain atmosphere around them, where right when you were with them, you were like, wow, everything feels different all of a sudden. I remember my mother had a great friend, one of her best friends from work, and I remember when I was with them, she used to curse all the time. And my mother would not say, oh, please don't curse around my son or whatever. She just let her be. And I was always prepared to hear these specific words when I was around her because she was just like a gutter mouth, but so nice and so friendly and full of jokes and full of all of this colorful scenarios and stories and so on and so forth. Back to my parents, my mother and my father, somehow, some way, And by the way, just as a little side note, I actually have two fathers and one mother. Obviously, I have a mother and father that birthed me, but I always include my bonus father because he is still to this day such a catalyst in the way that I view things or the way that I process things. So I always say I have three parents. And again, the love for these people or the way that they trained me to love happened over time. It happened in a continuous motion. It happened in a fluid motion from the time I'm going to just say maybe three to up to now, right? I remember things literally from being through, I guess about, excuse me, three. I remember this yellow outfit that I had on when I was graduating from kindergarten. This is so powerful when I think about it. And I also remember there was love on that day, but somehow, some way, there was a little bit of friction between my parents on that day. I don't know why I remember it. Maybe my dad didn't come on time or he was supposed to, I don't know what happened, but it still was always rooted in love. I had a very specific teacher. Uh, Man, I think her name was Mrs. Burkhalter. And she was my favorite. And I felt like I was her favorite. And the love that she gave me was so specific. It was like she was just teaching me in kindergarten. It was unbelievable. I never forgot that. Again, back to my parents of three, I remember asking my mother, was it 2 years ago? Maybe 2 years ago. I said, what is the thing about your husband, my mother's second husband, that has been so consistent from the moment you met him until now, approaching 50 years married? What is the thing that it never changed this entire time? Without hesitating and not thinking, she said, he's a great provider and uh he has so much love and so much care for us. Always. He's always worried about what's going to happen when we go here. Do you have enough money? Are you going to be picked up? He's always been like that with you, with me, and with your sister. And I was like, wow. It was such a good answer because it kind of encapsulated everything. Then I thought to myself, watching my father love his wife and watching my father still speak highly of my mother after years of life happenings, things that happen with people who get divorced, they still speak about each other in a very, very kind way, still to this day. And whatever happened years ago, it happened the way that it happened. They don't carry it with them over time. Fascinating. Now, in my own personal life, as I've been in relationships and been connected to people, the training of how I know to love has now spilled over into those relationships, right? Let's say that my two or three most important relationships, when I say important, that's a funny word. I don't mean most important, maybe I mean most impacting to my soul. When I think about them and I see what they were based on or what I brought into this situation, I'm almost, not almost, I am proud of the interpretation of love that I gave to those relationships. We're talking about a span of maybe 20 years, right? I remember the reflection, right, of the love from those people based on what I put forward. And I also, which is what this is interesting as well, think about uh, conflict and love. So when you are in love and there's conflict, how it affects your body from head to toe. and how navigating that. Once again, I always think about my mother and my father and my bonus father, watching them in some sort of difficult situation or whatever. How did they handle it? Right? Always related to love. How do you handle the conflict when it comes up? Are you walking away? Are you hanging the phone up? Are you screaming? Are you whatever the case may be? So I asked you this question again. It's a very vulnerable topic. When you think about love or you think about loving someone, where did your training come from? In high times and in conflict times. When you look at yourself and you feel like someone is not treating you properly or giving you something that you can't actually process, do you lead with the love from your training, or are you in the moment? Like, for example, if you're an artist or a crafter or a construction worker or somebody who builds things, as soon as you see the circle, it's a flathead or a Phillips screwdriver. You know what to do. You know how to put that shape into that specific thing. So my question to you is, when you're dealing with conflict, do you lead from love or do you lead from uh, protection and fight? And did you learn that from this person, that person, or the other? I would love for someone to chime in and speak about their training or a situation where they were leading with love, they really thought they were, and a conflict came along, and how did they deal with it? Or just give me a, a piece of how you feel like you were trained to love based on someone very specific in your life. Anyone? I know it's deep today. It's a deep one. It's a deep one.
This is Maria Sangria.
Maria Sangria.
Yeah, so I believe I originally learned to love from my high school basketball coach because from 8th grade to 12th grade, I played basketball and I was a superstar, and then I ended up scoring 32 points a game.
I
So
was a
that,
superstar. Love that.
yeah, it really raised my level of confidence. And I always noticed that my coach's name was Cindy, and she was so loving to everybody, no matter what.
Mm.
And to me, it was like influencing me.
Yeah,
And she always encouraged us
right.
to love everyone. And so from there, I experienced some disasters like the earthquake in San Francisco in October 1989, and then Hurricane Katrina in New Orleans, 2005.
Wow.
And then in 2007, I took the Landmark Forum and
Oh,
their communications courses and a few other courses, and I discovered, wow, through those conversations, first of all, a lot of my suffering disappeared, and I now have an opportunity to accept people for who they are and for who they are not, no matter what. And
mm,
I practice it, I take it on, and I find myself in situations at times where people get triggered and they're cursing and they're very upset.
right.
And my response is to be kind, tender, gentle, and loving. And then if they continue to carry on, I'll even say out loud, you know what? You can carry on like this if that's your choice. And I am not going to do that.
Mm,
I am going to bring being love, loving, lovable, kind, sweet, and gentle and tender with you. I love you. I always will. And I accept you for who you are and for who you are not. And I'm not going to start cursing, and I'm not going to argue because you know what? Your view is as valid as mine. And if the whole world got that, we wouldn't have to go to war anymore. So I could carry on and on, Chase, and that's really the gist of it. And I appreciate everybody's listening. And this is something very important to me because it is a practice, and I've elevated myself and ascended. And I say the juice is in the forgiveness. So I forgive myself, I forgive them, and carry on. Okay, that's pretty much the gist of it.
Excellent. And when you said, first of all, I did the landmark forum too. We'll talk about that another time.
Okay.
Secondly, it's interesting because it loops back to my mom again. I had a problem with someone a while ago, and when I was younger, the same thing. And my mom always says almost the same thing. She goes, "Well, you got to let that go. You got to let them be." That's the thing right now. What's that new book called? Just Let Them, or what's the name of the book from the new person? Anyway, there's this flow right now with these different books coming out, and there's a concept now. Just let them. Just let them. They feel that way. We just let them. And my mother
Yep.
used to say that. She says that all the time. Well, we'll just let that be. Well, you can't work with that. You can't do anything with that. You got to just let that be. Well, let them go on. You don't pay attention to that. Like my mom always says that, and it's helped me in so many situations. But thank you for your comment. I appreciate it. Um,
Thank you.
it's so good. Was somebody else trying to chime in? I thought I heard another voice.
Grand Rising, Grand Rising.
Rashida.
Grand
Ooh.
Rising. Thank you so much for the topic. Important topic,
Important.
lifespan topic, breathing topic it will be. Thank you so much. And you get me going back to my four parents, my grandpapa, my grandmama.
Right.
And it's make me really think, appreciate, full of gratitude, full of love, because I always tell people one love. I don't care what you want to say to me.
You do.
You
You
can
do.
say, I'm going to shoot you. I love you
One
anyway.
love.
One love. And this is one of the things that I have learned from my grandparents and my uncles and my aunties. I was raised in a village. No, I'm telling you, if the neighbor slap you or spank you, you best just take it and go with it, because guess what? You're gonna get more spank when your foreparents or your parents they know that you was not doing the right thing. So
Right.
that love of the community, that love of my grandparents, and the most important thing that I really understood from a little bit is when he used to do the circle of fire, and he gave you all the understanding and the comprehensive, because when he used to do the circle of fire, it was time to really sow seed and plant and stuff like that, and they would give you the breakdown of that seed, but with that love that you would understand it for the rest of your life. So the love that was instilled in me, and the love that I grew up with, and the love that I instill in people and share with people is from a little child. But the love was genuine. The love was, I will say, is like a mustard seed. It was tiny, 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 but today it's this giant in me. So thank you so much for the topic, uh, Chase. And and when I say thank you for the topic, I thank you for the topic with a lot of love, because in this is something that we are lack of in this society today. Thank you very much. I appreciate you and I love you. You know that.
I love you back. And you do say one love whenever I talk to you. I think you said it from the beginning when I first met you. And that's the connector, right? That's the thing that happens where I'm bringing this topic up and I'm challenging you to go back in your mind, even if you don't want to come on to the huddle and be heard. When this is over, think about where you came from. Who was the person where you go, that is love? That's what I viewed as love when I looked at that person. I'm very, very fortunate. I tell people I have 4 families, right? My mother, my father, my bonus father, my bonus mother, and those 4 people go into 4 different directions. So you can imagine the aunts, the uncles, the grandparents. Right now, I only have one grandparent on my father's side, but I actually have another grandparent on my bonus mother's side, which was my father's second wife. So I have all these examples of love around me, but the the pivotal people like that you remembered so clearly, giving such a strong example of love that it affected you. Like you pulled away with it when you weren't with them anymore. You were like, man, I have, I'll call her an auntie, one of my mother's cousins. My goodness, this woman loved me so strong. People would have thought I was her son. And I remember her. Unfortunately, she's not with us anymore, but wow. She used to come and hug me and bring me a little gift here or there. And she was so intense with her love, yet it seemed so effortless. She was a school teacher. But I say all that to say that the question, when I say who trained you to love, who was the person, and it's actually could be multiple people. I have friends that I met in Europe when I was performing, again, who showed me such a strong, just passageway of love. To this day, they still call me and say whatever's going on in their life, when I'm coming to see them, so on and so forth. And if that can't affect you, or if that doesn't affect you, there's probably a reason why, right? Because not everybody has this passageway of love from their childhood. Don't get me wrong. As I'm speaking about this topic, I know that there's someone listening to me going, I didn't have that. I remember a lot of bad things from my childhood, and I've learned how to love myself over the time, over the years. Now I'm at a new place of love. Or some people would say, I didn't learn about true love until I had a child. I hear that a lot. As soon as that child looked up at me, I realized I love this being so much that I'll do anything for them. And then my level of love went up to another level because they didn't have that love for them, which, wow, that hurts my soul to think about that. But at the same time, there is so much information right now and so many scenarios to glean from as it relates to love. There may be somebody right now listening to me saying, I still haven't found someone who loves generously and continuously. And my opinion, or not my opinion, my advice to you softly, because I'm still in training as well, is to love yourself so much more that you are creating this wave or this consciousness of love outwardly, which will reflect that on another human being. That's how I see that. And, you know, right now, literally right now, I'm working to navigate a relationship with a family member. And I'm thinking about ways that I can show them more love because I'm getting kind of like a weird vibrational thing from them. This is someone who's an elder. And there's so many ways to express love and emanate love. However, many of us get lost in the fear of the person not accepting that love, right? There's obviously so many ways to show people love, right? We show it with gifts, we show it with our time, hence the 5 love languages, the famous book about that. But um, I really, um, I really want you to dive deep into this because I think, could be wrong, doing this little exercise with yourself could actually uncover something that could allow you to breathe better. That's why I connected to wellness, because we all know when you're being properly loved, your body's vibrating, you're feeling things you don't normally feel, or at the level that they're not. And if you remember, and if you can think about it, the last time you were with someone who really allowed you to love them properly and gave it to you in return, you can't forget that. You can't forget it. You know right away. As soon as I said it, someone probably popped up in your brain. And, you know, I want to give a special shout out to Rashida, because I always bring Rashida back up when I'm thinking about this. Now there's other people. Rashida was the person who brought me onto this platform. And I thought to myself, wow, I have never been around Rashida where I don't feel tingly, because she's saying some stuff that I'm like, oh my God, it's so good. But even the thing that she said, one love, one love. I don't know if you can repeat those words and be a curmudgeon, upset, angry person. I don't even know if that's possible, right? That's like the concept of being happy and sad at the same time, or positive and negative at the same time. I don't even think you could do that, right? Because the words are creating our life, right? So, man, I always thank my parents for putting me on this path of um, concentrating on love, right? I was speaking to my father the other day, and he said, he was going through some pains or stuff from an operation, and I was talking to him, and uh, he had mentioned that another family member was saying, "Oh, you know, your father's not well," and he goes, "Why would they say that? I'm not well. I'm fine. I'm walking around. I'm happy. I'm good. Everything's good." He didn't even like that sentence, "not well." He pushed it right aside. He said, "I'm up. I'm happy. It's a new day. I'm gonna do lots of things. I'm out there. I'm in it. I'm dancing with it." I was like, "Wow, awesome." Like, just don't be pulled into that place where you're stuck in the mud and you can't move. Love somehow pushes that into motion. And we talked many, many, many shows again about hugging. If you know somebody who hugs you a lot, oh my gosh, it's the best thing ever. It's actually proven that people who get more hugs or give more hugs live longer. Just remember that. Um, so I get happy when I think about the love from people who show you genuine love no matter what. That's the thing, right? When you know people who are like, "What's going on? Da, 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 da. Okay, cool, we got it. We're going on." Or, "What are you doing tomorrow?" "Okay, I'm doing something. You know what? I'm gonna come get you. Everything's gonna be fine." They just keep moving through anything that happens, right? Not everybody can do this. Some people are stuck in some things that they need to process, and I understand that. But the concept in general, when you have that training, or whoever gave you that training, my goodness, it really sticks to you in a way that I'm so grateful for. And my trainers, without a doubt, are my parents. Um, but outside of my parents, I could name 20 people who are professional love practitioners. We'll call them that. I've never said that before. Professional love practitioners, the PLPs of life. So sit with this concept, please, and ask yourself, who were your teachers for knowing how to love or how to receive love? And how is it affecting you right now? Maybe you need more love. Maybe you need more interaction in that way, and that's totally fine. But step up to it and see if maybe you need to, read a couple books on it, or do the things that I always talk about: being out in nature, the deep breathing. We talked about so many things over the past few weeks that aid you in that process. Um, does anyone have a quick comment before we go? Because we are at the time. Anyone?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Okay, that was a good quick comment. um, thank you so much for being with me today. I appreciate it. You know how we do it here, and if it's your first time, this is a gift to you. Our tenets. Remember to live out loud. Remember to laugh more. Please, please, please do that for yourself. Remember to eat more plant-based foods, because the plant-based foods are going to give us the fluidity that we need for our digestion, for our respiration. It's so good, right? Remember to move the body, because moving the body creates all of these great sensations and lets you know you have a temple that's helping you through each and every day. Remember to sleep more than you slept before, because this sleep will definitely invigorate you, let your body know that you care about it. And also, you know what? Give. Give more than you have before. Give away, as my dad would say, give away something that you really love. One of the most powerful things he's ever taught me. Give what you have. Don't compare yourself to what other people can give. Give what you can have of yourself to someone else. And last but not least, I feel like I'm using my hands a lot today, which is a good thing. Please check yourself before you wreck yourself, and challenge all of your assumptions that may bring you to a low vibration. I love you so much. Thank you so much for being here. Have a spectacular day, and I will see you soon.